Recording?
Yeah, now
okay.
it is.
I'm Blaine Shorty Rhodes. This is the home I was born in 1927. My parents were Jasper William and Ellen Tapner Rhodes. I was the 13th of 15 children. Now, I lived in this house, or had to sleep in this house until I was with my grandmother until I was 6 years old. When I turned 6, they kicked me out of the house, and I had to sleep in the bunkhouse. And we will go now and show you where the bunkhouse is. You get the retake done?
Yep.
Now, when we'd go out to the bunkhouse to sleep, my older brothers would leave earlier than I did. And so I'd have to come afterwards. And there was a row of lilacs right along here. And there was always a billy goat on the other side of the lilac until I get about halfway to the bunkhouse and he'd come out and hit. And this will be the bunkhouse. This is the bunkhouse, right there. All these other things have been added on since. And in this bunkhouse we had 2 beds and a pot-bellied stove so we could keep warm in the winter. And, I remember when I was just a little boy, my older brother Dick was riding in a rodeo, and in them days they didn't have, he was riding broncs, saddle broncs, and they didn't have the candles like they have now. He had horns on. And he got throwed off in one, and when he came down, he came down on his shoulder blade on that horn and broke his collarbone and his shoulder blade. And I had to sleep with him for about 6 months till that got healed. Also, when I was 6 years old, I learned how to milk cows. And I'll show you the barn where I milked my cows.
Inside you can see that. Hang on, Dad. We're gonna look inside.
There's the bunks are in there.
Are the bunks in there? There's bunks still in there.
There's the bunks.
The bunks are still in there?
Along the left wall.
Let me switch this back to...
I'm gonna take a picture of you in the door right here. Like, this is way cool.
Let me get the bunks.
I mean, people would pay money to have that.
So how are the beds situated in here? I'm seeing 3 bunks there on the left.
No, they were 2 double beds back in there.
Okay.
The pot-bellied stove was sitting right over here.
Right in the middle?
Pot-bellied
And,
stove in
just
there.
on this side. And there was quite a bit of room in here.
How many people were in here?
Oh, there's probably at least 4, sometimes 5 sleeping in here.
4 or 5?
Did the other boys have rooms in the house? The girls were in the house, right?
girls
Stand
were-
right there, down and take a picture of
The
you.
girls were in the house. They slept in the house. I'll have to tell you the story. One day I was going to school.
Let's see.
You don't remember, but back in 1930s when I went to school, it was during the Depression. And you didn't have any money at all. And I told my mother one morning, I said, I want a nickel to go to the store at noon during school. She said, we don't have a nickel. I said, well, then I'm not going to go to school. She said, yes, you will. I said, no, I'm not going to go to school. Yes, you will. So we all went out and lined up to the for the school bus, and I was at the end of the line. My older brother, Carl, and Lee, and Alta got on the school bus, and as they got on, I whirled and took off. I went clear down to the pasture that day, and I had my lunch with me, and I sit down there in the pasture and dug sago lilies and ate sago lilies. And then about noon, I thought, well, I guess I better go back up. So I snuck back up, come in here, and got under the covers in the bed. And I was just about to have a nap, and the door opened and my mother came in, and she had a switch that was about 8 feet long, a willow. And she laid into me. Thank goodness I was under the covers. By the time she got through whipping, she only had about this much of a stick left in her hand. I went to school after that.
Never missed school again, huh? Unlike Uncle Carl, that when they came to get him and he wouldn't go back.
This used to be our milk, where we'd put our milk cans. We had a cement trough in there, we'd fill it with water. And when we get through milking the cows in the night, we'd put the cans in there, and then in the morning we'd put the cans in there. And we sold our milk to Morning Milk plant that was over in Wellsville. And we had a fellow from out from Mossville that hauled the milk. He'd pull in here and he'd reach in and take 2 of them 10-gallon cans, pick them up, turn around, set them up on his truck. 2 of them.
That's 80 pounds a piece.
That's 80 pounds of milk plus the can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one day, my older brother Ray and his friend Roger Nielsen, he lived with the Isaacsons, was in here and we was horsing around. And Roger says, Blaine, I'm going to baptize you in this trough. And I said, no, you're not. He said, yes, I am. And he picked me up and went to put me in, and I had a holder on him, and we both went. And there wasn't any cans in there, though. We both got soaked clear through. Now this was the barn.
Oh, it seems so much bigger than I was little.
Is any of it still the original one?
The barn, this part of it here is original, but it used to have a loft in it with we used to stack hay in there all for the winter feed. And when I was 6 years old, they had a Jackson fork that they'd unload the loose hay with. Pull it up, it'd go back on a track all the way back. And I used to run the horse and run the dairy horse. And out in the corral. The horse's name was Dan. It was a strawberry roan. And this part of the barn used to have, hello dog, 10 stanchions in there. And I remember that I used to milk the first cow when I was 6 years old. I had to milk the one cow before I could go to school in the morning. And then later we moved the cows into the middle of the barn, and there was a room for 18 head in there. One day after I got a little older, I was milking cows, and we had an electric storm, and by then I had electric milker. I'll have to tell you the story about the electric milker. My father was, he wasn't really an alcoholic, but he liked to go to town and drink beer and sometimes he wouldn't come home in time to help me. And after I had milked those 18 cows by hand myself, I went downtown and went into this store, and I says, "How soon can you get an electric milker up to my barn?" He said, "We can have it up there tonight." I said, "Bring it up." They came up and put an electric milker in there, and my dad came home and he said, "What's going on?" And I said, "Dad, I'm tired of milking 18 cows while you're down at the pool hall drinking beer." "Okay." He said, "Well, we needed one anyway." So, so we put the electric milker in. One night, I was milking the cows, and lightning hit the barn. And took the electricity out. So I started to sit down milking the cows by hand. Well, another bolt of lightning hit the barn, and all 18 cows fell. I just happened to get up from milking this one big white one, and they all fell on. I thought, well, they're all dead. So I went in the house and come back out after the electricity come back. I wasn't going to even go in that barn until electricity come on. I went in and flipped the switch, no lights. I got a flashlight and started looking, and it had melted every one of the light bulbs in that barn.
Oh my gosh.
And all the cows was standing up eating, so it didn't kill any of them.
Ready to be milked.
On this end of this side of the barn is where we kept our horses. We used to do all of our farm work with horses. And they would be tied in. In fact, there's one back there now. we used to do all of our farming. We'd have to come out and harness them. We usually had about 4 heads in there. And, one day I was harrowing with 2 of the horses up in the field, and I was in a 3-cornered piece, and I drove the harrow. I'd always stand on the harrow and drive the horses, and I drove the horses up into the corner and turned, and as I turned, the harrows come up like this, and I jumped off, and when the harrows come down, they slapped the horses on the rump, and away they went. They ran away. Well, I was just hanging onto the reins, dragging behind the harrows for about 50 feet, and I couldn't hang any longer, so I had to let go. They came down in the lane, and there was a gate there, and the horses made it through the gate, but the harrows didn't. They tore the harnesses up. I got scolded for that.
Yeah?
But, anyway, that's where I spent my growing up years, right there. Most weeks in the morning.
So I have a question.
Out here north of the house, we had a raspberry patch. And then back here, we used to have a chicken coop. And we had 400 laying hens. And our job was to gather the eggs and take them in the house and clean them. We had sandpaper put on little boards, we'd brush them. Every once in a while you'd hit the egg and you could break it. And then we used to have to pick the raspberries.
That's the closest to one of them boys.
That's the closest.
See, this wasn't here then. Right there. Right there.
Oh, it's right there behind that tree. Oh, okay.
thing last night where you milk the cows in here and under here
Over here, on this side.
on both sides.
Well, no, we had horses.
There's it's the bunkhouse with all the
Milk
stuff
cows.
on it.
We milk cows over here.
Yeah, but there were two
On that side and over on that side.
That was in the center. And then, but when I was growing up, why that lean on that side was the milk barn. There was room for 8 or 10 cows on it. That's when I was 6 years old, you know. That was when I was 6 years old.
These are cars. Okay, that's fine. Ron, hold the picture so I can take a picture of the picture.
get around.
That's great.
Chris has a scanner on his
Do you have a scanner on your tablet? Okay. You didn't lock the car, did you? No. Okay. 'Cause I got that one. Okay, but if you can scan it, that's what I was thinking. Let's scan that in.
Striped shirt in the background.
I did. No, I zoomed in enough. I'm not getting it.
You gotta focus the whole time you're walking on lifting that foot up. I don't know.
That one's not working. Let's see. Let's do portrait. Scanner on his tablet, and so we can scan this in. Then we can. That would be like really cool. So, Dad, am I crazy, or did we used to? Did we used to? Did you have a thing down this street right here, where you bring the cattle in, and then you cut their horns off, and they would split blood
Oh, it used to be out.
out farther? But you really did do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was thinking maybe I was not in this, so we'd come early.
We did it at my house.
So I remember that. I remember coming in and breaking, you guys putting the cows in there and breaking, and you'd say, don't stand there. So I'd walk over by you, you'd go, get over here by me. So I'd come over by you, and then you'd take these clipper things and you'd clip their horns off. And blood would go everywhere.
We didn't do it with those hands.
Did too?
Great big thing. And
Big
try it like this, and then cut the horn off. And if the horn was too big to fit in there, you had to use a back saw.
Bag saw? Oh my gosh. I don't remember the saw. I just remember the blood going everywhere.
Later, or before that time, we used to do it over to Jack Richard's ranch. Jack Rhodes.
You know, I'm still working with computers and
And,
nursing and hospitals and doctors all over.
My job was to run through a chute. My job was to hold her,
And then Rochelle, she runs
Wrap their neck
emergency
down.
in St. George, so we moved down to St.
hold it down
Hold
while
it down?
they branded them while
Yeah.
they cut the horn off.
Oh my gosh.
Well, one day I had this pole and I sit on it instead of holding it down. That when the steer raised his head up,
Nice in December though.
raised his head up,
Yeah?
I slid down that pole and I ran a finger in my butt. That was
Miss my dad though.
and then beyond the barn and the trails,
I'd almost get up here and
we
go
used to
now that I
have
live down there.
a silo.
Yeah.
The silage pit,
It was like, oh,
we'd have to go
and time, but then I didn't do it.
shock the corn into
I went up to golf.
shock and haul it in and we put it in the chopper and throw it into that pit. So later on we made that silage pit into a potato
Oh, he
pit.
does that.
Okay.
He up golf in 82.
And
He's been golfing over there at Belmont Springs for the last
first of all, he hauled logs from Soda Springs to the uprights, and the poles put on top,
He golf for free
and we put net,
because he was mowing
wire on that,
Now he's
and
now he's become
then straw
addicted to
and rolls on
the
top of
golf
that.
game.
Oh wow.
We had 2
You know,
air vents. We'd cut potatoes in spring.
Yeah.
We'd have corn torpedoes come down and cut potatoes, I'd get up on top of the potato cellar and drop rocks through them vents. Hit the
girls?
on the head. Oh, wait.
Sometimes those cause more problems than good.
Oh, that is too funny.
You ought to get one of those that got 4
Potatoes for
feet
the
on it.
neighbors. And it was built so we could drive a truck back to school.
So that ended up moving down in Garden, right?
We built a new one down
Built a
there.
new
We
one in
just
Garden.
moved it.
Okay,
You don't
all right.
move that.
Well, that's true.
Now, later on, the community went and built one down.
They got more
Okay.
feet.
So it's where those storage centers are now.
Those are good.
Okay.
So good to see you.
All right. That is too cool.
First
I know,
of all,
once a year.
Lumber from Soda Springs to go down.
Once a year and an occasional funeral.
Well, let's see, what else?
We want the funerals to keep them from being occasional.
Occasional.
So how many chickens do you have?
Oh, anywhere from 200 to 300.
Even better than
We
you.
would have sometimes 10 cases of bacon a week.
Wow.
Case, that's a whole bunch.
They'll do that. All you need to do is grunt or nod every now and again. That's
And then north of that,
not the whole
we had
conversation.
pasture.
Keeps your dad company and gives him reasons to go outside and do something else. That's part of why he went up to mow the lawns up there.
Oh, Jeff Euler built a house.
He went up to mow the lawns
Where
and
that
they get away.
And
Yeah.
every Sunday after church, we'd have about 14 of us out here playing soccer.
Oh, how fun. You know, he said in the pasture out here, so that's where Jeff Euler built his pasture. So there used to be a pasture out there. And every Sunday afternoon they had about 16 kids out there.
So you're 84?
Right out here.
87.
So,
So you're a year older, 50 years older than my dad. I can hear him.
1 year.
1 year older?
86.
You'd be 88?
Just about 2 years.
So how much older was Ray than you, Dad?
Well, let's see, he was born in 1918. That's probably
Oh, is that right?
So 9 years older than you.
Yep, makes sense.
That's how he got his middle name. Ray Verdun Road.
Why Verdun?
Because of the Battle of Verdun in the First World War.
Oh, really?
I was wondering about that because I was like, that is an interesting middle name. So it comes from the battle in the First World War.
And how did Zoop
Oh, I
come
never
along?
even knew he was Ray. I was always Zoop to me.
You say, so why did they call him Zoop?
Well, our older brothers, they're responsible for all of our nicknames.
Well, I know yours because you were little. You're the youngest, so you were Shorty. But so where did Zoop come from?
Don't ask me. He was Zoop ever since I was that big.
Oh, okay.
Do you know how he became Zoop?
I don't.
Don't ask me.
This is Aunt
one of the
DeLone.
old-
What do you got, DeLone?
Hi.
One of the older brothers
This is Zoop's wife.
named him Zoop.
How was Zoop? That was it. So did you have did they give you a name when you got married into the family?
Boss. We call her the boss.
They call her the boss.
No, I wasn't the boss.
She was just Aunt DeLone. She was wonderful. We used to go down to her house and play. She had swings.
Fun.
It was. We used to have a lot
I
of
was
fun
afraid
at
of
her
the
house.
dogs when I was a little boy.
Yeah,
Those
she had
dogs, I
lots of
thought I was
dogs.
gonna-
Lots
I was
of
gonna
dogs.
get eaten alive. She probably kept a lot of kids away with those dogs.
Did.
Yeah.
Salesman's away and
Yep. Salesman will come.
All right.
yeah.
We had a salesman come here one day, Frank Dalton, you remember him?
Yeah.
And we had this dog named Tree.
No, that's a rotating.
And we got him from a guy in Salt Lake, Orville Cheney was down in Salt Lake, and this guy had to move, and we couldn't take the dog, and he said, well, I got an uncle up there that'll take that dog, and we brought him up here. Well, they had him trained to hold your hands out like this, and he'd come and run and jump, and you could just catch him. Well, this salesman, Frank Dalton, pulled in here one day and got out of his car and went me about here in the yard and And the dog started towards him. He went like this, and the dog come and jumped right, knocked him flat on his back. And he said, "I'll never get out of this car again unless there's somebody out here." And I said, "Frank, come here, I want to show you something." He wasn't trying to hurt you. And I held my hands out, and he ran and jumped, and I caught him. I said, "See, he thought you was wanting him to jump in your arms." He said, "I don't care, I'm still not going to get out."
I love it. That is fun.
Well, all right.
Thanks for bringing those out and showing those to
That's
us.
wonderful.
Thanks for letting us come over.
Thanks for letting us come. This is
Because right
good fun.
now, there's nothing that the way it was.
Yeah.
No, not a lot is the way it used to be anywhere.
Nowhere.
I remember sitting in the kitchen at Grandma's Singer sewing machine, pedal sewing machine. And my job was to, turn this off, I don't want to. My job was to keep the strings going right and turn it, just twist it just right as she'd sew those braided rugs together. And when we weren't making them, then she had another pile over here that were just all the old clothes. And we were to cut them up, and they had to be so big and as long as we could make them. But they had to be a certain width. And we would sit, and she would talk to us and sing to us while we would make these things that she would then turn into rugs. The rag rugs.
Yep.
And I remember sitting there. I also remember the flower bin. I loved her flower
Had them
bin.
all over our house.
Yes, we do. We
We've
have
got one downstairs.
braided rugs all over our house. And she had a big flower bin that was a part of her cupboard, and you pull it out and dip down in there. Do you remember doing that? Dip down in there and get the flower out. It was really fun.
I had my first saddle horse tied in here. I traded a pig for him. A guy in Portage. It was a thoroughbred. He was just coming 2-year-old. And I had him tied in there one day, and I walked up alongside of him, and he reached around and bit me right back there. And if you've ever been bit by a horse,
They hurt.
it hurts. They don't bite and let go. They bite and they jerk until their teeth comes out of your.
Train you to not turn your back on him, didn't it?
Yeah, no, I trained him not to bite.
Ah!
What was the horse's name?
Spider. Yeah. I still had him when I went in the service, and when I came home, Zoop had him ruined. We had ties up in this field out here, and he'd come out here and he wanted to learn how to rope, and he wanted to teach him how to make a roping horse out.
Yep.
So he'd ride up along them ties and rope a tie and jump off.
Back up.
That horse, oh,
Hey.
he had a lot of fun with him. I had a lot of fun with him too.
How old were you when you went in the service?
18.
And then how many years were you in there?
I was there 18 months or so.
And then you came back home.
Yeah, I was supposed to went in July, but I got a deferment to help run the farm until 2 of my brothers got home from the service. It was the day after Dale and Ray came home, that's when I saw like
How many of your brothers were in the service?
3.
Dale, Ray,
Dale,
and Carl.
Ray, and Carl.
Ray was served in the Pacific Ocean. Dale and Ray joined the National Guard, and they went as far together it was Hawaii. And they took Dale out and sent him to Oklahoma, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and because the National Guard. The National Guard was they had these big guns.
Artillery.
Artillery. It was artillery. And Dale went to Fort Sill and trained more in artillery, and then he was shipped to Germany.
And how about Ray?
And Ray stayed in the Pacific.
Hawaii.
Lee, when they inducted him, he started his in Africa, his war in Africa. We went from Africa up into Italy and then into to Germany.
That's cool after just finishing that
Me,
book.
I got through, when I went in, the war was over, but they still had prisoners of war, Japanese prisoners of war in Hawaii. And I was trained to run bulldozers and heavy equipment, so they put me in the motor corps. I was in charge of the motor corps. That's why I didn't stay in there. I liked driving them bulldozers and I had like the first trainer got me on one of these cats and he said, okay, we're going to show you how to make a road. He said, drop the blade and take off. So I did.
So
I got so I could cut a pretty smooth road.
did all of the brothers make it back?
Oh yeah. Okay. While I was in Fort Lewis, Washington training, they was clearing a big piece of ground for the veterans to farm, and it was covered with pine trees. So we'd dig them pine trees up. We'd go along and dig a hole around the roots, and then they'd push them over. And then he'd come along with a big crane and pick them up and stack them on top of each other to make a pile so they could burn them. They had a pile that was, I dare say it was 90 feet tall. And they got ready to burn them, so this guy, they pumped diesel fuel in them. And then this crazy guy took a 5-gallon can of gas, went clear to the top of that pile and dumped that gas and lit a match.
While he was up there.
While it was up there?
That was the end of him.
Yeah, all that come down off of that was a pile of pine trees with a ball fly.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't pass the IQ test too good when he went into the army.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, that was horrible.
What time is it?
Yeah, it's getting late, isn't
It's
it?
getting late. It's
Quarter
quarter
to
to 11. So
I gotta go back over. Jan's gotta go up here to field him at 11 o'clock.
All right.
Okay.
all right.
See you,
Thanks,
Delone.
Delone.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Push the foot feet on this, but I've tried my truck.
That works in the truck.
The races have got me doing the truck again. He's gonna take the feet.
Yeah. We've had that discussion.
I'll get it anyway.
We'll see ya.
But I guess that's the story of my growing up
Up
here.
here. That's cool, Dad. Thanks. That was really sweet of you. That was
Is that good?
priceless.
That's good for now. I want to take a picture of